Today we really have to talk about Lloyd, because to be honest, he's slowly been becoming a pretty big topic in the Ninjago community, simply because of how much potential there is for Lloyd, and a lot of people have been noticing a few details that could point towards something pretty huge happening with him in Crystalized. Really quickly though, before we do get into that, if you haven't already and do appreciate the content I put out, feel free to consider subscribing to the channel. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate any possible support. So yeah, at the very least, please do consider it. With this being said, on with the video. Now, we will be discussing a few major spoilers from the first 12 episodes of Crystalized. So if you actually haven't seen all of those 12 episodes, I would recommend clicking off now, because we will be getting into spoiler territory. But for now, let's just get into this. So, at the very end of episode 12, as I'm sure most of you are familiar with at this point, we got the return of Harumi. She was revealed to be the Kabuki masked character, and Lloyd was looking pretty, well, shocked, to say the least. Now, as I'm sure you are also familiar with, way back in Prime Empire, Lloyd was set against Avatar Harumi, a fake version of her created by Unagami to basically scare him and make him lose the battle so that Unagami could harvest his energy. Well, in that fight, he was pretty kind of just torn straight up, and I mean, that's quite obvious. He was really affected by the loss of Harumi in Season 9 and whatnot. And so seeing her back kind of like confused him, scared him in a way, and that did definitely have an impact on him. In Season 13, she was also brought up briefly as Lloyd had some sort of trust issues going on with Vanya, and so it's almost kind of been building up to this moment where the real Harumi actually returns and Lloyd is faced with that extreme battle of having to see her again and go up against her once again to save Ninjago. Now, because of this, I do honestly think that there is going to be a huge, almost dark arc for Lloyd happening in Crystalized, or possibly even in the next season. As I say, it's almost like it's been building up to this moment, and Lloyd having to deal with that trauma once again. I think it's going to be something pretty huge and pretty substantial in the series, and so I think a story in which Lloyd has to basically get over Harumi and actually face her once and for all is going to be a great thing to see, and I think it could also make for some pretty dark moments for Lloyd. I really want to see him kind of at his absolute rock bottom and then eventually rise up against Harumi once and for all and completely overcome her. That seems like the ideal scenario to me personally, and I do definitely think that there is a lot of potential for that to actually happen in either this season or the next one. Just seeing Lloyd overcome her would be such a great thing to see, and I think it's something that urgently needs to happen eventually, because he's kind of been clinging on to Harumi and being really affected by her ever since she ended up quote-unquote dying in Season 9. And so having a story in which he has to forget about her, overcome her and whatever, it would be great and would be a nice addition to Ninjago for sure. And so that's basically what I'm really hoping for here. Seeing her in Prime Empire clearly affected him. Seeing her in Crystalized once again, wow, I don't even know what Lloyd's reaction is going to be, but it's clearly not going to be too great, and I for one am really interested to see where this story goes and how Lloyd actually deals with it in the season. Hopefully we get to see more of that very, very soon in the near future. With all of this being said though guys, feel free to drop your thoughts down below on all of this in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you did enjoy today's video, feel free to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to appreciate the content I put out on a daily basis, and also turn on that notification bell so you guys can be the first to get up to date on all of the latest Ninjago news and content when I do release it. And with all of this being said, I will see you all in my next video, coming out very, very soon. Goodbye.